This is happening. So I'm very, very excited to
Oh,
welcome Leanne into the Soul Pleaser group. And by way of introduction, I just want to let you all know why I decided to interview Leanne today. So many of you know that I started my program late, well, actually the beginning of last year, so over 18 months ago. I started running the Soul Pleaser program, and Leanne went through that program and is now doing my Purposed Prosperity program. And she, as a result of all of that, has started a very exciting new business, which is what we're going to talk about today. So welcome, Leanne. Can I ask you how you were feeling perhaps in July last year before you saw my Facebook ad?
okay. Yeah, hi. Thanks, Tracy, for having me. Yeah, last July, completely overwhelmed and very stressed. I was a teaching principal at a small country school, yet that wasn't the problem, I didn't think, because I always have found myself in whatever job I was in, coming to a place where I became very stressed and anxious about my actions, my thoughts, the way I presented myself, and get a handle on this finally and do something for myself so that I can live a more productive and stress-free life. And it was just it just so happened, as it does in Facebook land, that I saw Tracy's ad and I watched her webinar, and then had a one-on-one chat with Tracy, and from that we connected. And yeah, I haven't looked back personally and professionally since then. So it's been a wonderful journey.
And likewise, Leanne, it's been so amazing to watch your transformation. It's really been an inspiration to me. What do you think was the shift that occurred through going through the Soul Pleaser program for you?
Yeah, I think for me it was, first of all, discovering who I was again, because I had completely forgotten who I was and what I loved and what was good about me, and really believing in that. And then the next thing was about not having any attachment to what other people thought of me. And that was probably one of the biggest shifts that I had, going from someone who was always really worried about that, being awake at night, worrying about people and what they thought of me, to not having that fear or anxiety anymore at all, which is like, I can't thank Tracy enough for that, actually, because that's probably been one of the biggest things for me. And then the next thing was finding gratitude every day for just the smallest things, and that just builds into something that becomes part of your daily life and your daily routine. And the more you do that, the better life becomes. And then after that was mindfulness, which gratitude and mindfulness go so beautifully together. Just finding those moments every day to really come to center and notice what's going on inside of you in that exact moment, and realizing that there is never anything to worry about and stress about, because there's actually never really anything happening. So that, yeah, all those things together just make for an amazing transformation. And yeah, I've been to counselling in my life, and I've never experienced anything like this before.
And what's so exciting about that transformation is that when you were discovering what is wonderful about you, one of those things was the way that children see you. Can you just share what you shared with me about what children used to say to you? And back when you didn't love and appreciate yourself, you didn't acknowledge it, but you can see now this special gift that you have and this purpose of yours in the world.
Yeah, so I've gone back and watched some of the videos that we have done in the past, and I was listening to some of that the other day, and how I was saying that it didn't matter, again, what job I had. I've always had a very special connection with children, and they're always very drawn to me. And but in my teaching career, I've had children tell me that they think that I'm magical, and I ask them how what they mean by that, and they just go, you know, you're magical, like, you know, you've got those twinkling lights around you. And so kids tell me that I'm magical, and I guess that's what I have now deduced, that's what they're attracted to.
And that gives me goosebumps even today. I remember the first time you said that to me, and the goosebumps and probably tears that I had when you shared that with me. And I still feel like that, because we all can shine our light. And that is my favorite thing in the whole world for me. I feel like my purpose is to help other people shine, because that just completely lights me up when I know that you're shining bright, and kids can see that all the time. So one of the things that happened as a result of the Soul Pleaser program is that you started to discover your purpose. What do you feel your purpose is now, Leanne?
I think it's to help the kids. I think it's now to help the children find exactly what I found. That, oh, I'm probably going to cry saying this. That inner love, that inner love, and really believing in self, and knowing that they're enough no matter who or what they are, or where they come from, or what skills they have. That everything that they have is just perfect. And so teaching as many children as I can that is important. And then teaching them gratitude and mindfulness, because as tools to help them in this world that we live in, that is crazy and busy and stressful. Yeah.
So amazing. And, you know, it's so interesting how this incredible collaboration has come about between the two of us, because when I took my first group through the Soul Pleaser program, one of my dear friends, Jacinta, said to me, oh, you've got to teach this to children, because she was able to trace her people pleasing back and that lack of confidence to when she was very little. And I never felt confident to be able to teach children. I feel very confident to teach women. So of course I've attracted the perfect person into my life so that I can teach you, and then you can go and teach children, which is really very exciting. So tell us about your new business, Leanne.
So my new business is teaching mindfulness to children, and teaching them how to use that and gratitude as a strategy to help them calm down in situations, maybe when they're feeling stressed, anxious, or things that have gone not the way they want them to, which often can upset children, and just teaching them to be able to how to stop in that moment and take a breath and take stock of what is actually good, and go on from there, and teach them that, you know, they can change the way they react to things. And research has said that 8 weeks of mindfulness can change someone's way of acting and reacting to situations. So so it's a 10-week course. Of course, there's a week of getting to know each other, and then the 8 weeks of mindfulness. And so, yeah, hoping that...
That's wonderful. And I remember that when you first started experiencing the shifts personally, that because you were the principal of a small school and you taught a class, you were able to introduce that to your class at the time. Share with us how that changed the children in the class that you introduced that to last year.
Yeah, it's so incredible, that story. Like, you know, just thinking to myself, oh, this is affecting me this way. How will it affect children? So I was lucky, like Tracy said, that I was a teaching principal, so I was able to implement mindfulness into the classroom. And I just remember the best story is the very first day, I just took them outside and we meditated, and I just did the 5 senses and concentrated on those. And I remember when the kids first opened their eyes up after that, they were like, whoa, this world is so different. And I just couldn't believe that in those 5 minutes, their world had transformed from something mundane to something just amazingly magical. And they were little children. They were 5 years, 6 years old, and they just had this amazing experience. And from that, our lessons and practice grew to a daily practice. And I think the kids in my class, in my care at that time, were calm already. Like they were country kids, so they were pretty calm anyway. But the biggest transformation I found for them was that belief in self, especially in their schoolwork, like how much more you would hear them say things like, I know I can do this, or another child just offering help to someone else. That was the biggest thing I think for me in that situation, was their self-love and their appreciation of our differences. That was amazing too. That they just started appreciating each other for each other's strengths, and then they were capitalizing on that. So that was wonderful.
Yeah. And it's interesting around the self-belief too, because it's so important to instill self-belief in children so that they can start at a young age to be who they are. Because often the reason that we mold into somebody else so that we can fit in is because we don't have enough self-belief in who we are uniquely, and it's okay to be ourselves. And how that was mirrored in them accepting other people being who they are. Can you imagine what a schoolyard could be like, and then of course a community, and then the world could be like if we accepted ourselves and accepted others? So it's so exciting to think about that shift. But I also want to draw the comparison with your self-belief, Leanne, in terms of being able to start a new business. So up until now, am I right in saying that you've never ran your own business before?
No, I've always been far too afraid to do that. Yeah.
And how did that change for you, do you think? Where was the shift for you to be able to have the confidence to start up Kalm Kids?
I think knowing that everything that I was worried about was based in fear and not believing in myself, and just knowing that it's only me and it's only me, and I can do it. Well, I have everything I need to be able to do it, and just that self-belief and letting go of fear is the biggest thing. And I have to say, having a cheer squad, having a support group, a tribe behind you also helps a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting. We had our Purpose Prosperity Q&A today, and everyone in the group has made huge leaps into their new businesses, and it's pretty exciting to be doing it together and to be able
Yeah.
to have the steps to follow. So, well, if you're watching and you have children, go over to Kalm Kids with a K, Kalm Kids. And Leanne is there. Leanne is launching her first 10-week program. Leanne, when does that start?
So on the 11th of October, in the Sunnybank Community Hall in Brisbane, at 3:30.
Fantastic. So contact Leanne. She'd love to help you out. And Leanne, thank you so much for being on the call today. I'm so, so proud of you and just feel absolutely blessed to witness you shining so brightly.
Yeah, and thank you, Tracy. And the same for everyone that's out there watching us. If you have any anxiety or overwhelm, find Tracy at Soul Pleaser, because it's an amazing course, and I will be eternally grateful for the change that I've had. So the same goes for Tracy. She's amazing.
Thank you, Leanne. Mwah. See you, Leanne. See you, everybody.